Hello, Reitannites. Reitanna Seishin here. And I've gotten quite a lot of responses to my challenge to scare me. Sorry. So here I have these tabs of things. For any videos or video games that I actually am interested in, I want to do a facial cam, so I'm gonna save that for tomorrow for what I have so far. Guys, I haven't played Amnesia, but games like that aren't the kind of scary I'm talking about. Okay, I've watched PewDiePie play Amnesia a lot. When it comes to scare, I want something that, you know, people complain about being kept up at night because of things that they've read or whatever, or seen or whatnot. So, I mean, yeah, if I play a video game, I'm gonna have some, I'm gonna get scared. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, it's chasing me! Oh shit! But, I mean, I'm not gonna be all like, after I quit the game, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, it's gonna come after me, oh my god. So, yeah, I mean, with the scary thing, it's not that I'm not scared, it's that I like it too much. It's that the scarier it is, the funner it is for me. So, yeah, somebody, when I was talking about Lavender Town Syndrome, which, by the way, is real enough, pretty sure, what the creepypasta is based around a true story that was, a little extended and a little exaggerated. So yeah, the original theme actually does cause side effects, but not insanity and suicidal tendencies. But man, I'm 22 and it says that it's supposed to affect kids 12 years old and younger. I'm 22 and it made me feel sick. I almost, but didn't, throw up. I was just like, oh my god, and Michael was actually like, yeah, you're not listening to that ever again. So, here's one. I don't know if it's supposed to have the same sort of frequencies, but it's 5 minutes. Are you kidding me? I know this show was before my time, but I feel like I've seen it before. This is supposed to be creepy. Thank you. Oh, I see. It's coming down. Oh, that static sounds familiar. What is that from? I remember this character specifically. I've heard these background sounds before. Where? It's getting loud. There's a reversed breathing sound in the background. I think that's from SCP-087B. And that static, where did that static come from? Unless it just sounds like similar. Abracadabra, that's clever. Do I have to listen to the whole thing? I'm getting bored. These drawings remind me of Tim Burton drawings. Definitely says pirate, doesn't it? Okay, really quick, I'm not exactly familiar with the creepypasta itself, so I'm gonna go check it out real quick. Okay, well, the story itself isn't necessarily scary enough in reading, but what I'm kind of creeped out about is that I swear to God I've seen this show before. I recognize the logo and I recognize the dude with the handlebar mustache down here. I recognize it. Where is it? There. I recognize this dude. I recognize the Candle Cove logo. So what the fuck? That's what scares me. And I commented, I said, it wasn't a real show. It looks so familiar. The logo and the characters, the dude with the handlebar mustache sticks out most. But apparently it wasn't even a real show? I'm so confused. Anyway, I don't remember who, I just have the tabs open. I haven't looked at them yet, and I don't know exactly who referred what, so here we go. Oh my gosh, yes, that is absolutely horrifying. I won't be able to sleep. Oh. I won't be able to sleep tonight. I'm so sad. Dude, Britney Spears with makeup is scary. I'm sorry, but I never thought she was pretty. Her eyes slope downward. They kind of like go diagonally downward, and then just like her eyes are really far apart, and she eats kittens. That's the worst thing about her. Anyway, so thank you so much, whoever did this. So awesome. I have to say, though, that makeup is really pretty. Okay, what's next? Oh, if I've read this. And it... Okay, just for your sake, just for your guys' sake. The story is based on eyewitness accounts. It was around 11:20 at night. I didn't do this video already, did I? Did I? Shit, I don't remember. Anyway, let's do it real quick. It was 11:20 that night. I was dragging myself home exhausted after a tiring night study sessions at school. But there was no one on the street, which I thought was strange. I usually see a lot of people even at night since my apartment complex is pretty big. Anyways, feeling scared, I kept looking down at the ground while walking home. This is Korean, by the way, if anybody can't tell by the characters. It's kind of obvious that it's Korean because of the characters, because their characters don't look like any other Asian characters I've seen. Okay. Suddenly a shadow stretching towards me caught my eyes, although there wasn't anyone around me. I looked up to see there was, and saw a woman walking in front of me, but she looked a little strange. I could say that she looked crippled. She was limping and struggling to walk in front of me. Since she was walking very slow, I soon caught up with her. Up close, I was able to see her even better. She was wearing dirty pink pajamas and looked as if all her joints in her body had been twisted, whereas her hair was a mess and sticking out everywhere. It seemed so weird that I stopped walking. I felt like I shouldn't get any closer to her, nor did I have the guts to pass her by. You know, people say that if you're really surprised, you can't even scream. That was right. I froze there, not being able to move at all. Where's my baby? My thoughts were racing to her question. Oh my god, I don't even know what I was thinking when I did that. It gives me chills thinking about that moment. Da-da-da-da-da. I answered, pointing as far as I could. Over there. I just wanted her to get away from me. Then she limped towards where I had pointed to, and I couldn't see her anymore. Fearing to have my ran into her again, I tried to turn around and leave the apartment complex. I could not think of anything but to get a place where we could be other people around, blah blah blah. At that moment, she is not here! I heard her screaming from far away. Excuse you? Rude, she burped. I don't remember anything from then on. I heard that my neighbor found me passed out on the ground, took me home. In 2007, an apartment complex in Bangshandong, I can't speak Korean, I'm sorry. A 33-year-old woman jumped on the apartment and died on the spot. Known as her 78-year-old after reverse direction in medical affairs, she had custody of her 2-year-old daughter and decided to commit suicide after that. And she has been walking around the complex several times. She was walking around several times. Thank you. Yeah, I read it. Of course, those 2 parts surprised me, but I'm not like, you know, frankly, her face looks fucking cool. Wait, where's the other one? She freaking crawled on the backwards. Hi, Joe. How are you doing? Okay, now that's been accomplished. What's next? A creepy SCP. Ooh. Okay, I'm not gonna read the containment procedures. Keter? No, Euclid. Okay, SCP-966 are predatory creatures that resemble hairless, digitigrade humans, possessing an elongated face with a mouth lined with needle-like teeth. On each hand, they have 5 claws that can be up to 20 centimeters long. Oh, where's my ruler? Fuck a duckling in the ass. I don't know where my ruler is. I think it's about a foot long. I think. Maybe almost a foot long. Although sharp, these are easily broken, making them unfit for combat. Height ranges from 1.40 to 1.60 meters. That's... Wait. If a meter stick is as long as a yardstick, then they're really short. 30 kilograms basically are weak, possessing hollow bones. A lot of they suddenly look at the sleeve. Instead, they suddenly cease all movement and seem random intervals are visibly only weight less from 7 on place tissue. Why are you scary? feed on large-sized animals, including humans. They hunt either alone or in pairs. Their hunting methods consist on emitting a single burst of previously unknown type of wave dubbed as blank waves in honor of the late Dr. Blank, which permanently inhibits the ability of the affected creature to enter in any of the NREM and REM sleep stages. The ability to microsleep is also lost. The effective range of blank waves is up to 20 meters. However, tests show that they can be blocked by post-transition metals, particularly lead. All attempts to make victims of SCP-966 sleep have failed. It is possible to induce other forms of unconsciousness, although these will usually prove detrimental to the affected subject as they do not provide true rest. After depriving their victims of sleep, SCP-966 will stalk their prey until the lack of rest incapacitates it. At this point, SCP-966 will proceed to consume it. SCP-966 it's really hard to say, have proved to be very agile and silent while stalking their victims. On occasion, they will deliberately make threatening noises around the prey in order to further stress it, and may even physically assault it if the victim proves to be particularly durable. Sorry. Other than the common symptoms caused by sleep deprivation, some victims of SCP-966 have shown signs of suffering from extremely vivid hallucinations, as well as sudden bouts of rage with no apparent external stimuli. It is currently thought that these are the effects of prolonged exposure to blank waves. While SCP-966 continually exposes these waves to only some of their victims is unknown, one hypothesis is that SCP-966 will only do this when starving, since it further degenerates the physical and mental state of their prey, incapacitating it at a faster rate. Wild instances of SCP-966 are found all over the world. Since their discovery in 19-blank, the Foundation has succeeded in greatly thinning their numbers, though they are still found in large quantities in blank and blank blank. Cool. Ha, sexy. Anyway, what's next? It's a creepypasta! Oh, I've read this one! It is one of my absolute favorites, but what kills it is that there's no... I love this picture. I love this picture. The audio is creepy. Of course, I'm not exactly sure what the audio has to do with the episode. Yeah, I read this one. It is possible, I think, in my opinion, I want to say it's about 40% possible. There have been people who claim to have seen it, but, you know, anybody could... Wait, how is this one different from this one? Hang on. It would be better if somebody actually made an episode that looked like it was an actual episode. Plus, the eyes aren't supposed to be like that. The eyes are small and sunken in with, like... And it's not just because of the earlier picture that I showed you. That's, like, pretty much the description doesn't make it look like giant tomatoes with drawn eyeballs on it. I don't know. Yeah, pretty creepy. Okay, so basically what this was describing is, of course, it summarized the entire episode, and then it talked about the delivery of the tape, which actually raises it up to, in my opinion, 70% possible. It's really cool. But, you know, of course, with the fake episode, I want to freaking... Hang on. The 7 frames are seen in black and white of the boy from the first photograph laying in the woods. Over the course of the 7 frames, the hand of the photographer reaches in and grabs the boy's entrails as his remaining eye focuses on the man's hand and even blinks once. Cool. I want to see that part! That's what I want to see! I want to see something disturbing, not this freaking cutout flash bitch of fucking... Okay. Another creepypasta? Midnight Game. Okay, what is this? The Midnight Game is an old pagan ritual used mainly as punishment for those who have broken the laws of the pagan religion in question. While it was mainly used as a scare tactic to not disobey the gods, there is still a very existent chance of death to those who play the midnight game. There is an even higher chance of permanent mental scarring. It is highly recommended that you do not play the midnight game. However, for those few thrill seekers searching for a rush, like me, or for those delving into obscure occult rituals, not like me, these are simple instructions on how to play. Do so at your own risk. Well, I hope the materials are easily obtained. Aw, man. Well, good thing I have dermatillomania. Okay. It must be exactly 12 o'clock a.m. when you begin performing the ritual. Otherwise, it will not work. Materials. You will need a candle, a piece of paper, a writing implement, matches or a lighter, salt, a wooden door. A big wooden door? I'm not defacing my door! I'll figure it out. And at least one drop of your own blood. If you are playing with multiple people, they will need their own of the aforementioned materials, and they will have to perform the steps below accordingly.
Write your full name,
first, middle, and last,
on the piece of paper. Put at least one drop of blood on the paper. Allow it to soak into the paper. Turn off all the lights in the place you are doing this. Go to your wooden door and place the paper with your name on it in front of the door.
In front of the door? Like outside the door? Or like... I assume.
Now take out the candle and light it. Place it on top of the paper.
Oh wait, so you don't actually have to stick it in front of the door. Okay, so nothing actually happens to the door. Good.
Knock on the door 22 times. The hour must be 12 o'clock a.m. upon the final knock.
So basically I have to calculate how many minutes to do this for before.
Then open the door, blow out the candle, and close the door. You have just allowed the Midnight Man to enter your house. Immediately relight your candle.
This is where the game begins. You must now lurk around your now completely dark house with a lit candle in your hand. Your goal is to avoid the Midnight Man at all costs until 3:33 a.m. Should your candle ever go out, that means the Midnight Man is near you. You must relight your candle in the next 10 seconds. If you are not successful in doing this, you must then immediately surround yourself with a circle of salt. If you are unsuccessful in both of your actions, the Midnight Man will create a hallucination of your greatest fear and rip out your organs one by one. You will feel it, but you will be unable to react. Wait, so ripping out my organs would be my greatest fear, or is he going to show me my greatest fear and at the same time rip out my organs? Because my greatest fear is, volcanoes.
If you are successful in creating the circle of salt, you must remain in there until 3:33 a.m. If you are successful in relighting your candle, you may proceed with the game. You must continue to 3:33 a.m. without being attacked by the Midnight Man or being trapped inside the circle of salt to win the midnight game. The Midnight Man will leave your house at 3:33 a.m. and you will be safe to proceed with your morning.
Addition. Indications that you are near the Midnight Man will include sudden drop in temperature, seeing a pure black humanoid figure through the darkness, and hearing very soft whispering coming from an indiscernible source. If you experience any of these, it is advised that you leave the area to avoid the Midnight Man. Do not turn any of the lights on during the midnight game. Do not use a flashlight during the midnight game. Do not go to sleep during the midnight game. Do not attempt to use another person's blood on your name. Do not use a lighter as a substitute for a candle. It will not work. And definitely do not attempt to provoke the Midnight Man in any way. Even when the game is over, he will always be watching you. Good luck! You are going to need it. Huh, that sounds fun. Are there any comments? You could... Oh, it's on the wiki forum. Okay. I'm going to favorite this. Obviously, I can't do it now. I'll have to save it for another time. I'm not gonna try it, but
I'm not gonna do it yet. Ha ha! I don't believe a fucking word of it. Next, another creepypasta. Dr. Smiley. Hello there, my name is Dr. Smiley. Needless to say, I am not your usual doctor, unlike the doctors in the present-day hospitals who try their best to cheat death. I, on the other hand, welcome death and help my patients to embrace it. Why, just the other day I found a young lady on the street. She looked like she was slowly dying of anorexia. Where did my rubber band go? Oh, there it is. I'm playing with a rubber band. So I gave her a smile, kissed her hand, and promised to help her. She was charmed and followed me as I led her to my office, a small building on the outskirts of town. You've probably seen it before, the one with the shutters that are just hanging by a small strip of wood or metal. If it was your office, you'd know whether or not it was wood or metal. The white paint slowly chipping off the wall. The one with the plastic and cardboard covering the windows. Then how would you know that the curtains were hanging off? The one you always assumed was empty. I call this building my home and my clinic. I help all my patients here. Mad father, anyone? After I got back to my clinic with the girl, she was quite frightened. I thought it was cute, like a little mouse. I just gave her my usual sweet smile and tugged her hand softly, easily pulling her along into my small living room. I let go of her hand and locked the door behind us. She began to panic as she noticed the bloodstains on my old couch. Oh, don't worry. That is just where I had to perform an emergency surgery, I said, trying to hold back my small chuckle of excitement. I took her into my operation room and told her to lay on my small operation table that I recently built from a baby changing table in the bathroom. Okay, she lay down still, looking scared and unsure. She looked around the room at all the bottles of pills and jars of liquids that lined the walls and took notice of one of my specimens. What is that? She screeched as she pointed at one of the jars. That isn't supposed to be capitalized. I looked at the small jar, undeterred from my work. Did I pronounce that right? Why, that, my dears, is a specimen from my last patient. She had a disease that caused her blood cells to die, and soon her entire body began to shut down. She gasped and sat up. She tried to make a run for it, but fortunately for her, I had just finished filling my syringe with the bluish liquid that I used on all of my patients. I swung around, grabbing her wrist and yanking her back, stabbing the needle into her neck and injecting the liquid. Oh, that's why I got confused, because there's no end quote. There's supposed to be an end quote there. Oh, that ruins the whole thing. Just kidding. Shh, don't be afraid. I am here to help you, I whispered into her ear, smiling wide enough to show all of my sharpened teeth. She opened her mouth as if to scream, but could only manage to let out small gasps of air. Then she fell into a deep sleep. I continued working on preparations for the surgery, slowly shining all of my tools. I laid everything on a platform next to her bed, where she sat propped up with pillows and bound with handcuffs. Kinky, a soft whimper drew my attention, and I laughed. "Welcome back, sleepyhead," I said, placing the final tool on the table. She opened her eyes and started thrashing against her chains. There's supposed to be a period there. I only tisked. Does she not realize I'm trying to help her? I don't want to be a cyborg. I picked up my scalpel and started working on her. First, I cut her open, poking around in her insides as she bled and thrashed. I usually try to keep them alive while I examine them. It's funner that way, seeing the organs try to keep working even when they are exposed to the world. Oh my god, I love it. After I cut open her stomach and kidney, I finally grew bored. I cut off a small piece of her womb and dropped it into a jar. A new specimen for my collection. I thought out loud, smiling widely. She was twitching now, blood dripping from her mouth and eyes rolled into the back of her head. I giggled. I always found their last moments amusing. With that thought, I plunged my scalpel into her still beating heart. Blood oozed from the wound, and the girl went limp. I smiled wide, licking my lips. Another successful surgery.
So does that mean he collects pieces of womb? Oh, maybe he's collecting pieces of womb from a bunch of females to create a giant super womb? I'm sorry. That was fun. Giant super womb. What will be birthed from this super womb? Does that mean you need a super vagina?
Oh my god! It's catching me! Oh shit!